Hello everyone, myself Assistant Professor Vatsal Patel from Civil Engineering Department working at Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center Navsari. Today we are going to discuss about technical communication. So our today's topic is interview. So the word interview comes from the inter and view. Inter means in between and view means to see. So an interview is a process in which the employer gets an opportunity to see whether the candidate is suitable for the positions vacant, and the candidate tries to prove that he or she possesses the desired skill and knowledge. So, what is an interview? An interview is a physiological and sociological instrument in which an interaction takes place between two or more persons for a specific purpose. In today's world, interview has become an essential method for the selection, recruitment, placement, and admission. Interview helps the interviewer to select an appropriate person for a specific work. Through this method, interviewer can decide whether the person is suitable or not. In this interaction, interviewers ask questions and interviewee gives the answer. In short, an interview is a two-party interaction in which one person has a specific serious purpose. So generally, interviews are conducted to achieve some of the following objectives, like to select a person for a specific work, to monitor the performance of a person, to collect information, to exchange information, and to counsel. So next we are going to see some general preparation for an interview. So it will require go through a mock interview first. Like we all know that successful interview begins with preparation. So a candidate should develop a positive attitude toward work because it is the key to success or say to success in the interview. So go through a mock interview first. Like before facing up a real interview, a person should go through a mock interview at home. In such type of preparation, a person has a chance to examine his performance. Just one mock interview will improve the interviewee's skill of presentation. For an effective result, a person can review his answer and then go through another mock interview. This technique helps in building confidence at a real interview. Next, gather adequate or say enough information. Like before facing up an interview, a person must go through his or her subject. In interview, he or she can be asked about the field on which he or she is bachelor or master. An interviewee should also gather information about the organization or institute in which he or she has applied. A person can get information through company website, annual reports, news articles, etc. For example, a person goes for an interview for the post of a clerk in SBI. He should have knowledge about SBI. Next is dress appropriately. Campus fashion and work fashion are two different words or say world. So it is the fact that person's dress and outlook expresses lots of things about the person. A person should be in neat, clean and ironed clothes at the time of interviews. His shoes should be clean and polished. A person should also avoid fashionable clothes and jewelry at the time of interview because they may create a bad impression. A person should arrange all documents systematically in a briefcase or neat folder file. Next, be prepared to ask questions. If interviewee has confusions about several points or he or she has some questions, he or she should ask these questions at interview. If interviewee is fully prepared for an interview, he or she may not be able to think of any questions. Such questions can be asked at the end of an interview. Next, memorize your resume. Generally, interview questions are asked from resume. Therefore, a person should refer his or her resume before facing the interview. He or she should memorize important dates, years, experience and hobbies, etc., which are mentioned in the resume. If a person is unable to remember everything, it is alright to hold a copy of resume in hand. But doing this, a person should maintain eye contact with the interviewer. Next is be punctual. While going for an interview, a person should be punctual about his or her time and behavior. An interviewee should at least reach at interview place half an hour before the actual time. At an interview, his or her behavior should be normal. And the last one is stay relaxed. Before an interview, a person should take enough rest so that he remains fit for an interview. An interviewee should keep in mind that if he does not get the job, it is not the end of the world. In this way, a person should appear in interview in relaxed mood. Next, we are going to see various types of interview, which include job interview, information interview, persuasive interview, exit interview, evaluation interview, counseling interview, conflict resolution interview, disciplinary interview, and termination interview. So there are several types of interviews, and these types differ from one another due to their different purposes. Interviews can be categorized in these following types. So first of all, let us see job interview. So the purpose of job interview is to select an appropriate person for a specific work or task. In job interview, the selection of a person is done on the basis of his educational qualification, experiences and performance at interview. Job interview is usually formal in language and has a pre-planned structure. Next, we are going to talk about information interview. Here, the main purpose is to gather or collect information for a specific work. On one hand, interviewer seeks information, and on the other hand, interviewee gives information. In this way, here information flows in one direction. For example, a researcher goes to a village to gather information about rural life. Here, he will gather information by asking questions to villagers. Here, the purpose is to collect information. Next is persuasive interview. In such type of interview, the person persuades other person using his skill about something. For example, salesman pursues the customer to purchase goods from him. In this type of interview, interviewer puts an emphasis on recommendations, person's needs and how these needs can be fulfilled. Next is exit interview. Exit interview is conducted when an employee is an institute leave the job. Here, such type of interview provides the reason why employee is leaving the organization or transferring to the another department. Exit interview provides valuable information about the management of the organization. Next is evaluation interview. Here, the purpose behind the interview is to evaluate something. An interviewer evaluates person's performance, skills, etc. After supervision, interviewer and interviewee discuss the progress towards goals or standards to evaluate areas that required improvements. Next is counseling interview. In counseling interview, both interviewer and interviewee have problems to solve and both come together to solve them. Here, both listen to each other's demands and finally try to find out solutions. Next is conflict resolution interview. Here, two person or two group of people come together to solve their problems, but here both have opposing point of view. It means there is a conflict between them. For example, an interview between company owner and a leader of workers about the increment in their salary. In such situation, both owner of the company and leader of the workers come together and try to find out resolution. Next is disciplinary interview. When institution rules and laws are broken, this kind of interviews is conducted. In such type of interview, the person who has broken the law is called and asked the reason. For example, in army, when a soldier breaks the laws of army, he or she is called for a disciplinary interview. Here, he or she is asked to present the proper reason behind breaking the laws. And the last one is termination interview. When the employee is terminated from any institution, this type of interview is conducted. Here, the person who is terminated is called for an interview and informed that why he is terminated from the organization. So let us see various types of interview which are taken for the job interview. So first one is campus interview. So campus placement or campus recruiting is a program conducted within the universities or other educational institutions to provide jobs to students nearing completion of their studies. In this type of program, the educational institution partner with corporation who wish to recruit from the student population. Next is on-site interview. An on-site interview is essentially what it sounds like. It is when an employee had decided that they would like for you to come to their office and interview further. Next is telephone interview or say telephonic interview. So a common initial form of interview is the telephonic interview. This is an interview conducted over the telephone or mobile phone. This has the advantage of keeping cost low for both the employer and the candidate. In case of a large number of candidates, this method is used as a tool for the first round of screening. Through a telephonic interview sounds easy when compared to a face-to-face interview. The task required through preparation on the part of the candidates. In this type of interview, the candidate's voice plays a key role. At times, telephonic interviews may finally decide a candidate's suitability for a position. Mostly, however, it is followed by other rounds of interview which aim at finding out a candidate's suitability for the job from various perspectives. At times, these rounds may not be preceded by a telephonic interview at all. And the last one is video conferencing. So companies hiring at all levels, from every level to experienced professional, are more comfortable using technology, thus making video interviewing or say teleconferencing they preferred ways for the online recruiting process these days. For the job seekers through it is often a little intimidating. It may appear to be a dominating proposition even to those who are familiar with technology and use it on a regular basis. So, during the video interview, make sure that the table is neat and clean. Be aware that the microphone picks up all the noise in the room. Don't tap your pen or shuffle papers. Make an eye contact, otherwise, you will not sound convincing. Use the picture in picture features so that you too can see how you appear on the screen. So, next we are going to see typical selection process which are used for the selection process. So, in this sourcing, preliminary screening, technical interviews, group discussion, reference checks, HR interview, final interview, and offers are there. So, even if many of us are not sure of how to perform during an interview, most of us are aware of the process. During the interview process, the employer attempts to determine whether the applicant is suitable for the job or not. In a typical job interview, there is a panel which consists of 3 to 4 people who sit on one side of the table and a candidate who sits on the other side. During a job interview, the interviewers ask the candidates questions about his or her job history, personality, work style, and other factors relevant to the job. For instance, a few common interview questions are: tell me about yourself, what are your strengths and weaknesses, why should we hire you, how will you contribute to our company, etc. etc. All such questions aim at finding out your strength, your motivation to work, and your suitability for the job. You will usually be given a chance to ask any question at the end of the interview. These questions are strongly encouraged since they allow the interviewee to acquire more information about the job and the company. But they can also exhibit the candidate's confidence and strong interest in the company. So, what desirable qualities we should have? We should have desirable qualities like clarity of thoughts, presence of mind, balanced point of view, cool composure, logical thinking, maturity, sincerity, openness, capacity to conceptualize, good understanding of fundamentals. So, let us see what preparation should be done by ourselves during the interview and before the interview. So, know the company first. Researching a company about its product and services is essential before you go for an interview. This can easily be done by browsing the sites of the company, by going through its browsers and reports, and getting to know the value of its shares and debates or debts. So, first of all, history will be there. So, gather information about the company you want to work for. Visit the company's website and talk to anyone you might know who works there or had worked there. Find out details such as what product or services does the company offer or sell. When did it start? Who are its promoters? What is the total strength of employees in the company? What is its position in the market? Who are its major competitors in the market? Next, look after projects undertaken. So, what are its significant projects? What kind of benefits does it reap from those projects? These are certain questions that the candidate should seek answer for. Next, check about growth. The candidate should try to find out details such as what are its growth prospect in future. Does it have any plans to expand in your future? What is its growth rate? So it is important to know about the company, because if the candidate does not know anything about the company, it reflects his or her lack of preparation for the interview, as well as lack of enthusiasm to associate himself or herself with the company. Next, know yourself. So, before you set foot on your job hunting expedition, take some time to know yourself. The more self aware you are, the more confident and comfortable you will be in job interviews. So, check your strength and uniqueness. So, while preparing for an interview, you should always try to know your own strength and weaknesses. In the following situation, you can see how impressively the interviewee responds. So, assume one case. So, when interviewer asks, "What is your greatest strength?" the interviewer replied, "Sir, I think my abilities to motivate people and to adapt with changing circumstances are my key strength. These qualities actually help me lead a team and accomplish tasks within the stipulated time." So, as you can see from this example, you need to know about yourself. For this, you need to think of the possible answers for the most frequently asked question. So, let us see another one example. So, interviewer asked, "What is your major weakness?" The interviewee replied, "I sometimes go into greater details of the task assigned to me, which makes the task a little unmanageable at times. But lately, I have realized that I need to keep track of both my ideas and the time allotted for the task, and I am working towards being better at time management." So, here you can see a well thought out answer. The candidate is able to tell the interviewers about one of his or her qualities even when he or she talk about his or her weakness. So, competitive advantages of this are: it is essential that you make a good lasting impression on the people who meet you at any job interview. Showing yourself as qualified for the job is one important element, but you need to win the person over and ensure that also he or she is also impressed both by your knowledge and your personality. So, remember the quote said by Muhammad Ali: "To be a great champion, you must believe that you are the best. If you are not, pretend you are." Okay. And next, review common interview questions. So, there are basically 5 types of questions that an interviewee may face in interview. So, the first one is experience questions. Experience questions are asked to find out whether the candidate has necessary job skills and job experience. These types of questions include questions like, "Tell me something about your experience." "Are you fresher or experienced?" "What can you do for our company?" "How will you use your experience to develop our company?" Second one is credential questions. These type of questions are asked to verify educational information of the candidate. These questions are generally based on resume, like, when did you complete your BE? What is your area of interest? How can you balance your hobbies and studies? Next is opinion questions. Opinion questions are asked to test candidates' personal opinion about certain matters or problems. Moreover, these questions attempt to know how the candidate reacts to the real situation. For example, I want your opinion about global recession. Or say, women are inferior to men. What is your opinion? Next, dumb question also are asked. So such questions are asked to find out whether candidates has original thoughts. These questions reveals the candidate's ideology and physiology. For example, what animal would you like to be and why? Whether you will prefer rabbit or tortoise. Whether you want to become a ghost or devil. And the last one is difficult questions. Good interviewer often asks difficult questions. Here, questions are asked about special subjects of the candidates. Moreover, such questions can be asked which require person intellect to solve. For example, tell me something about the functions of RAM in computer. What is the difference between software and hardware? So now let's see using a proper verbal and non-verbal cues. So it include dress professionally, neatly groomed with polished shoes, always walk with head up to show confidence, shake hands with interviewer or say interviewers. Your handshake should be strong and firm. Sit upright with your hand relaxing completely and lean straightly forward in your chair. Don't sit on the edge of the chair. Maintain eye contact. So, if we talk about this, interview skills give more emphasis on non-verbal aspects. Non-verbal communication is considered as an expression of person's inner self, subconscious mind, or real voice. It is said that eyes don't lie, words do. Interviewers observe non-verbal aspect of a candidate to make a proper assessment of his personality. Here we will see some non-verbal aspect which should be kept in mind by an interview. So if we talk about appearance, it is said that our appearance express many things about ourselves which we hide from them. Our outlook and appearance build up our personality when we face an interview. This is why a person should be very careful about his or her appearance. A person should be careful about his or her clothes and accessories. So, following are the instructions which should be followed by an interviewee, like the candidate should neatly shave and trim mustache and beard. The candidates should avoid body piercing, tattooing, and fashionable jewelry. Choose standard accessories like pen, bag, pad, etc. Next is eye contact. Proper eye contact is very much essential in the interview. An interviewee should make effective eye contact to interviewers by following instruction given or say discuss. So look directly into eyes of interviewers. Do not stare. Maintain proper eye contact. Look at the all interviewers. Do not look here and there and avoid winking. Make eye contact positively. Next, don't forget to smile occasionally. Don't move your legs a lot. Do not rest one leg or ankle on top of your other knee. Avoid speaking in monotone. At the end of an interview, stand up and shake hands while you thank the interviewer for the opportunity. So if we talk about this, facial expression are the main one. So candidates' facial expressions and gestures are important non-verbal aspect which a person should use while facing an interview. Candidates' facial expression express person's mood, attitude, etc. A person should follow following suggestion to improve his or her performance at an interview. Like, keep your face smiling at the interview, do not show nervousness on your face, avoid unnecessary gesture and expression, do not play with hair, pen and accessories, do not chew lips, pen, etc. Do not move legs. Okay, and the second one is postures. So person posture also plays an important role in building a person's personality. This is why a person should be careful about his or her posture when he or she stands, walks and sits at interview. They can lean forward, which suggests that a person is listening attentively. Interviewee should sit with erect posture, which suggests that he or she is energetic. Thus, an interviewee should be very careful about his or her non-verbal aspect at the time of interview. So here I end my session. Thank you all of you.